Hey everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today, we're taking a trip to the islands, no passport required, because I'm going to show you how to make the most incredible, fall-apart tender, and deeply savory Caribbean stew beef. Trust me, once you make this, it's going to be on your regular dinner rotation. The flavor is just out of this world. First things first, let's talk about the star of the show, the beef. I'm using about 3 pounds of chuck roast, cut into 1.5 to 2 inch cubes. You want to cut with good marbling because that fat is going to render down and make the beef incredibly moist and flavorful. Now, for the marinade. This is where the magic really begins. In a large bowl, we're going to combine our beef with a generous amount of green seasoning. If you've got a homemade blend, perfect. If not, don't worry. I'm using a mix of chopped scallions, onions, garlic, cilantro, parsley, a little bit of thyme, and a Scotch bonnet pepper for that authentic kick. Be careful with the pepper if you're not a fan of heat. You can use just a small piece or leave it out entirely. We'll also add some soy sauce for color and saltiness, a little Worcestershire sauce for depth, and some black pepper. Get your hands in there and give it a really good mix. We want every single piece of beef to be coated in that amazing flavor. Let this marinate for at least a couple of hours, but honestly, overnight in the fridge is best. It really lets those flavors penetrate the meat. Alright, our beef has been marinating and it smells absolutely divine. Now it's time to get cooking. The secret to a rich, dark stew is browning sugar. It might sound a little strange, but this is a classic Caribbean technique. In a heavy bottom pot or Dutch oven, heat up a couple of tablespoons of neutral oil, like canola or vegetable oil, over medium-high heat. Then, add about 2 to 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. We're going to let that sugar melt and start to caramelize until it's a deep, dark amber color, almost like molasses. You have to be quick and watch it carefully so it doesn't burn. Once the sugar is that perfect dark color, we're going to carefully add our marinated beef. Be prepared for some sizzling. We're not trying to cook the beef through right now, we just want to sear it on all sides to lock in the juices and get that beautiful brown crust. Work in batches if you need to, so you don't overcrowd the pot. Once all the beef is browned, take it out and set it aside for a moment. Into that same pot, we're going to add a bit more flavor. Toss in some chopped onion, bell peppers of any color you like, and maybe a little more garlic. Sauté that for a few minutes until they start to soften, scraping up all those delicious brown bits from the bottom of the pot. Now, add the beef back into the pot, along with any juices that have collected on the plate. Next, we'll pour in enough beef broth or water to almost cover the meat. Give it a good stir. We're also going to add in a few more things to build that incredible savory gravy. I'm adding a bay leaf, a few whole pimento berries, also known as allspice, and a sprig of fresh thyme. A little bit of ketchup or tomato paste also adds a nice tangy richness. Now, bring the whole thing to a boil, then reduce the heat to low, cover the pot, and let it simmer. And I mean a gentle, lazy simmer. This is the part that requires patience. We're going to let this go for at least 2 to 2.5 hours. Low and slow is the key to getting that melt in your mouth, fork tender beef. About halfway through, I like to add some chunks of carrots and potatoes so they can cook down and absorb all that amazing flavor from the stew. After a couple of hours, the aroma in your house is going to be absolutely intoxicating. Check on your stew. The beef should be incredibly tender, and the gravy should have thickened up nicely. If it's a little too thin for your liking, you can mash a few of the potatoes against the side of the pot to thicken it, or make a small slurry with cornstarch and water. Give it a final taste and adjust the seasoning if needed. Maybe a little more salt or pepper. And there you have it. The most delicious, savory, and tender Caribbean stew beef you will ever taste. Look at that rich, dark gravy. The beef just falls apart with a fork. I love serving this over a bed of fluffy white rice, with a side of fried plantains and a simple avocado salad. It's the ultimate comfort food with a taste of the islands. Thank you so much for cooking along with me today. I really hope you give this recipe a try. If you do, let me know how it turned out in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more delicious recipes. See you next time.